The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on Sports.
Welcome in. It is Game Time Decisions on a loaded Tuesday. Kevin Walsh with you here on Sports Grid, where the college world will have our attention both on the court and with the college football playoff rankings, which will be locking in a number of teams to the first 12-team format. In an hour, when those rankings go live, we lock in, joined by Ben Stevens, our lead man on college football today. He and I will react to the rankings and everything it will mean for the odds market outright potential matchups that we could see. It's not the final rankings, but it is a big one. I mentioned that college basketball board, the ranked action tips in a half hour with Villanova. A 4-4 Villanova, mind you, catching 3.5 points at home against Cincinnati. This matchup, a part of the Big East Big 12 series. We are beginning some of the top conferences in the head-to-head games. Perhaps the ACC and the SEC Challenge stealing the show tonight. Clemson catching just 1.5 points against one of the best teams early season so far in college basketball, the Kentucky Wildcats. Their first step-up spot was in the Champions Classic against Duke. They got the job done. Can they get it done on the road in a tough place to play? We will certainly find out. The one college pick I've made so far is actually on Georgia Tech, catching 12. This number's moved down from 12.5 to some flat 12s, 11.5s as well. But give me Georgia Tech here, catching 12 against Oklahoma. I think, increased number due to what was a nice run, but maybe a little fluky out there in the Bahamas, beating Arizona. How good is that team? They beat Providence by 2, which triggered the rest of those games. Even the Louisville, I feel like we're still trying to figure out how good the Cardinals are. Plus, they were dogs in the final 2 games of that run. Now laying over double digits, completely different situation here. Georgia Tech catching this many points, worth a shot for me tonight as a part of some of these matchups that we've got going on. Now, let's get into the NBA Cup tonight. Oh, what a night it is. The NBA Cup continues to deliver year number 2, and you enter tonight's slates with do-or-die games. That is certainly the expectation for the one between Detroit and Milwaukee. The winner will win the group, which is massive, and potentially be the top seed as well, drawing the wild card matchup then, which is supposed to be the easier. It doesn't necessarily mean it will work that way, but you know you will be getting home court advantage in your game if you are able to grab this victory, which is massive between Detroit and Milwaukee. A loss, all hope is not lost, but it needs to be close where the point differential will matter. I do have a pick in this game. It's going to be Andre Jackson Jr., part of the UConn National Championship team from 2 years ago, who has cracked this starting lineup 11-plus points, rebounds, and assists. In his last 4 games, he is averaging 9 rebounds plus assists. We just need a bucket. He's not been overly efficient so far, but the volume is increasing, I think, as they grow with a little bit more trust in the youngster. Let's get 11-plus PRA from Andre Jackson Jr. Knicks Magic is the other big game in the Eastern Conference portion of your NBA Cup. The Knicks at home are laying 4.5. A lot more on the line tonight for the Knicks compared to the Magic. Now, both could win the group. It's that if the Knicks lose, they are eliminated. Their point differential entering tonight is plus 15. That number is currently beneath the Boston Celtics, who have finished up at 3-1, and a point differential of plus 23. The Knicks loss, of course, meaning they'd go less than the 15 they're already at. They'd be eliminated. A win, they all of a sudden activate as one of the top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference portion of this. Orlando, though, kind of sweat-free. A loss here for the Magic, it's all good, unless they lose by 40. Not exaggerating. I believe 30, maybe I guess I am, 37, 36 points, give or take, depending on the margin of defeat that is suffered by either the team in Detroit or the Milwaukee side of that game. The Magic's point differential entering tonight is plus 60. It is plus 60, and it is why they are booked so favorably at this moment in the outright market. We'll take a look at that. I will let you know within this game. Give me Karl Anthony Towns, bounce-back style, over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Cat has just been unreal this year for the Knicks. Said it kind of when it happened, and it was clear as day. The Knicks got the much better player in that deal. We've seen Minnesota and their struggles with Julius Randle. Cat's been better than expectations. He's hardly missed the 38.5 marker. Missed it in 2 in a row. Big game against Orlando. I think he gets back to it. But let's look at your outright market for the NBA Cup, because it's a really interesting one to try and dive into, where you have Oklahoma City and Orlando booked as 5-1 favorites. You're getting plus 550 on the Knicks, 6-1 on Golden State, plus 750 on the Rockets, 9s here on the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you start to get to some bigger options here. But it's very funny, right? Just for Atlanta's in, Boston is not. Atlanta is already locked in, and Boston is not even supposed to make it. So you can tell that they are somewhat trying to figure out, well, are they actually going to be able to do any damage? They don't think the answer to that is yes for Atlanta. Magic at 5-1, the reason for that is the security they have. A loss tonight, kind of no harm, no foul. Golden State in, Houston in, Dallas not so much. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's start with that top spot, Oklahoma City. You know, all of a sudden here on Game Time Decisions, we got a live one. We did our Take 5 a few Tuesdays ago. My favorite bet to make within the NBA Cup was the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this whole thing. They do need help tonight, though. Now they have to help themselves. They need to win as a 14-point favorite against the Utah Jazz. I'll tell you right now, Oklahoma City knows how to roll a team. And the fact that they tonight need to win in dominant fashion, and possibly, if they do not get the other help they are looking for, maybe point differential matters, I would not suggest this is too many points here on OKC. J-Dub is in line for a bounce-back spot, maybe and I don't know what I have to look at the numbers you're getting, but maybe a 20-plus OKC win play on Jalen Williams. Not a bad look tonight in this matchup with the Jazz. But the help that Oklahoma City needs is specific, and it is simple, and it is the Phoenix Suns to beat the San Antonio Spurs. Oklahoma City has suffered a loss already in their group, and it was to San Antonio, who didn't even have Victor Wembanyama in the game. Kind of inexcusable from OKC. But Phoenix, who the Thunder took advantage of beating because they didn't have Kevin Durant when they played, just has to beat San Antonio, hand them their second loss because the Spurs already lost to the Lakers, and then you get a 3-1 Suns, 3-1 Oklahoma City. Thunder take the head-to-head. Bing, bang, boom. They move forward, and that is certainly what the books are expecting tonight. Just quickly, the West wild card. Dallas with the victory is going to go through. Their point differential is plus 40 right now. Obviously, they would be adding on with a victory in their game against Memphis. The Grizzlies and the pace has been historic. Give me Luka Doncic on the other side to play comfortably inside that and get over 29.5 points as he is back for Dallas and looking for blood. We take a quick break. We've got Coach James Young on the other side with you here on Game Time Decision.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on Sports Grid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
Let's make it happen. It's Game Time Decisions on a very busy Tuesday. We've got our guy, Coach James Young, in the mix. JY, how we feeling?
Hey, man, it's Tuesday night, NBA Cup. We got some good games. I mean, some unbelievable college slate tomorrow night, but still some pretty interesting college action, including JY is jumping back on the Nova train. I have no idea why he did that, but I'm doing it anyway.
All right, let's start there. I imagine you are only doing this because you'd rather bet on them and lose than bet against them and watch them win. That can be the only explanation. There's no way you actually want to bet on this 4-4 Nova team against Cincinnati. It can't be true.
Kevin, they have covered 3 straight games.
Right.
And I'm looking at Cincinnati, and I know they beat Georgia Tech by 23 points, but I just wonder if the hiring of Eric Rodel should scare the bejesus out of Kyle Neptune. If you don't know, Eric Riddle's the new AD at Villanova, did not hire Kyle Neptune, and the clock is officially starting on Kyle Neptune. I think Cincinnati is good. I don't know if they're the 14th best team in the country good. So I'm going to take a stab at Villanova at home as a dog getting 3.5 points.
All right, so JY is rolling with Nova.
Which means they're going to lose by about 25 probably. That probably means. And then I'll bet against them and they'll win by 30. So
JY, you've seen Space Jam, right? Like and they have like Michael, he's just up there like signing autographs. It feels like somehow they got you on the plan that like JY has to bet every Nova game. Like you don't have to keep betting Villanova. I don't know why but like, you feel like you have to bet all their games. Just stop betting Villanova basketball games, JY.
You're right, but eventually I'm going to get it right. And I've been trying for 2 years with this team. I've been trying for 2 years to get it right with this team. Kevin, they got talent. The talent isn't the issue. It's can Wooger Poplar show up on time, which he didn't do one game a couple of weeks ago, and can Kyle Neptune coach his way out of a wet paper bag? That's the bigger question.
All right. Talk to me, JY. Where else are you looking on the ranked college board? A couple of big favorites out there?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dayton minus 24.5 versus Western Michigan. Dayton, who went to the Maui Invitational, went 1-2. Has played a pretty tough schedule. I'm a big believer in Anthony Grant, what he does. Western Michigan is not very good. The only good game they had, or decent team they played, he lost by, I think, 20 or 25 to Butler. I think Dayton rebounded. You've got to remember, folks, also, going 1-2 in Maui ain't bad when you're playing back-to-back-to-back days. A little bit of rest. Give me the Dayton Flyers minus 24.5.
And you've got Tennessee laying a big number as well tonight in their game going up against Syracuse.
Yeah, and the thought process with me is the top scorer, J.J. Starling, is out for Syracuse. Scores about 20 points a game. And Kevin, the line only moved by a point. I think it was 19.5 before news came out. Went to 20.5. Now it's to 22.5. So maybe people are moving that way. Syracuse hasn't played anybody.
Is it up to 22.5?
I think so, depending on the book. But Tennessee, I think, can get it done. I think, obviously, the defense that they play, they're experienced, they're tough, they're rugged. I know it's a big number for a high, power versus power team.
Yeah.
I'm still laying the points. Give me Tennessee.
That game, I need to forget that game is going to tip because I'm going to end up betting Syracuse. Tennessee's a tough team for me to get in on, and eventually that's going to get to too many points, but we'll see how it plays out. JY, a conference game in the Big Ten today. One, tell me what you like in the game, and tell me if the fact that this is a conference game in December impacts these teams whatsoever.
Well, it's interesting because the Big Ten tries to do, I think, 1 to 2 conference games before Christmas. Some leagues do this, Kevin. Some leagues do not. So this is a big matchup tonight between Michigan and Wisconsin. Two teams that are pretty evenly matched. A Wisconsin team at 8-0 is, let's be honest, playing better than a lot of people have thought. And then Michigan, who's starting to play better, including that big 78-53 win versus Xavier. To me, simply put, I know they beat Arizona. Maybe you don't think Arizona's that good, but still hanging 103 points is still a lot. It's a close game, but if it's a close game, give me the home team. Give me Wisconsin on the money line tonight.
All right, and then JY, some trust still there for you with Calipari and the Razorbacks?
I don't know if it's more that I have trust in Cal or I'm a Larinaga guy. My distrust with Miami Hurricanes. I mean, you want to talk about a school that's having a bad week? Shout out to the U. This is going to be a bad night. Why? Miami's not going to make the college football playoff, and their basketball team's going to lose at home. I'm going to take Arkansas minus 5.5. Simply put, Miami's lost 4 games in a row. They lost to Charleston Southern by 25-plus points. I know Cal's team is not playing consistent ball, but they're playing better than Miami. Give me Arkansas minus the points on the road.
The Razorbacks, JY, I want to stick here on this team. Coach, you're going to be able to stick around for a little bit longer. We're going to go through the NBA Cup tonight. I am just like, my timeline. It's hyper aware of how great things are with Kentucky, the early slip-ups for Arkansas. Do you think that maybe some of the Razorbacks' demise is overstated when you consider the losses are Illinois and Baylor, and that's, hey, those are good teams, it's early, or should there be some panic for a team that is now already unranked very early into this season?
Well, I think, Kevin, the problem is that people are looking at the fact that they've only played 2 games versus teams that are power, and they've lost both of them, right?
Yep.
Losing by 5 to Baylor, that's not as bad of a loss as people think. In Illinois, you can always talk about how great Brad. I don't know what team is this. This team needs time to gel. They're a young team. They've got guys. They got transfers coming. They got a new coach staff coming in. They got high impact freshmen coming in. The team needs time. So if you look at it, Kevin, besides the game at Miami tonight, they got to play Michigan in a week. And after that, they're not getting tested. And then think about this, Kevin. Their first 3 games in the SEC, at Tennessee, home Ole Miss, home Florida, and a Florida team that not a lot of people are talking about that can play really good basketball, especially scoring. So Cal's got to get it right, Kevin, because once it gets to January, it's going to get really tough for this team.
Yeah, I think the worst thing to happen to Cal is how good Mark Pope has been for Kentucky. They play a very big one tonight, though, against Clemson, so time will tell on that. Coach is going to stick around. We're going to get his picks tonight for the NBA Cup, a phenomenal night of NBA Cup action, mind you. We'll be right back here. It's Game Time Decisions.
The sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
All right, we're back to right here. It is Game Time Decisions, and we got to fly through it as we've got JY here to help us get the NBA Cup action on the board. JY, there are some top-of-the-group spots available in Detroit and New York tonight. It looks like you're going to be trusting the Knicks in their game against the Magic.
Yeah, this is more of a feel thing here. Taking New York minus a 4.5 at home. I read some comments that Brunson really means a lot to him, particularly for these young guys, for that $500,000 check. So to me, I know Orlando's been playing good basketball. They covered 9 out of the last 10 games. But Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, the only time they played a team with a winning record on the road, they didn't win or cover. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Knicks minus the 4.5 at home. I think they get the job done in a really good game. I'd like the under, Kevin, but it started going south, and it was too late for me to jump in. I think this is going to be a very tightly contested game. Knicks pull away at the end.
Okay, all right. So some underlove potentially, but more so focused on the Knicks there. And then, JY, Golden State could use a win to maybe hold on to the top slot of the Western Conference overall, but no Draymond as they go to Denver.
Yeah, no Draymond. They go to Denver. If I'm not mistaken, I do think Aaron Gordon is back. So a Denver team that's really been up and down, Kevin, let's be honest, all year. And Michael Malone has questioned their effort on numerous occasions. Last time, I think, when the Knicks hung about 145 on them. I do like the Nuggets here tonight. The cover to spread at home. I think they get the job done here. And like I said, no Draymond. I think this team will play better going to Mile High City. Give me the Denver Nuggets minus a point at home.
I am on the Warriors team total at 116.5 in that game. It does not mean I think Denver cannot cover. If Jokic is on it, no Draymond, they might score 125 plus. It's just the Warriors' offense is what I trust the most in that game. Draymond's been much better defensively than offensively this year. Steph is in line for a bounce back. And Aaron Gordon's first game, I'm not sure it's like, okay, cool, I'm here to have my best defensive effort of all time. You're still figuring some things out. So I do like Golden State to bounce back there, having lost 3 in a row, heading into that spot. JY, a few picks from you tonight with Philadelphia going to Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm going to go take the 76ers minus a point on the road here. I know simply put this team has been awful at 4-14. Obviously, no Joel Embiid. Paul George is back, though. I just think, in a team that is a mess, another team in a mess in regards to injuries in Charlotte, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Philadelphia minus the points. I'm also going to take Kelly Oubre over 11.5 points. I know he's gone under 10 in the last 15 games, but Kelly going against his former team. I think other guys get loose. 11.5 seems like a low number for a guy that's scoring 12.7 points per game. I can absolutely fill it up, hitting in 2 of his last 3 games. Give me Kelly Oubre to go over 11.5 points tonight.
All right, and then last one, JY, before we get you out of here quickly, but Tyrese Halliburton, someone you're trusting?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Tyrese Halliburton over his points plus assists tonight. When you look at this matchup against Toronto, yes, Toronto has been pretty good. RJ Barrett's been actually, let's be honest, scoring the ball has been fantastic. But defensively, they're not really playing good basketball, giving up 116, 121, 122 in 3 of the last 5 games. I'm going to go ahead and say Tyrese Halliburton bounces back, 2-game losing streak for the Pacers. Give me Halliburton over his points plus assists tonight.
All right, JY, appreciate it. Again, a great night of basketball, getting our help there from Coach James Young. JY, enjoy the action.
My man.
All right, awesome stuff there, as always. Just to quickly run through my basketball card for you here one more time. We're going to talk some hockey next with Joe Madden here. Loaded NHL slate on this Tuesday. Give me Andre Jackson, 11-plus PRA. For the Milwaukee Bucks, starting for that basketball team. Give me Karl Anthony Towns over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 113. Cat in a double bounce back spot. Rarely missed this number this year, but he has missed it in 2 consecutive. Some of the reason he missed it last game against the Pels was a monstrous blowout there. Not a lot of fourth quarter action. He could play 40-plus tonight in a huge one that they're going up against Orlando win. Give me the Don, Luka Doncic, over 29.5 points. Luka came back from injury, didn't play without Kyrie, and he didn't miss a beat. 36 points there. Was absolutely fantastic for the Mavericks. Luka, the scoring's going to pick up. Memphis this season, the pace is almost historic. One of the top 5 fastest teams that we've seen in the NBA in the last 25 years. Early returns from the Grizz. Luka be very comfortable in that environment. I like him over 29.5. And then give me that Warriors team total over 116 and a hook against the Denver Nuggets. Big-time bounce-back spot. They've scored 120-plus points following a loss. The first 4 times it happened. The last time that they just played Phoenix was the first time they didn't. I think you're going to see that Golden State offense shine there. A lot will be on Steph's plate. I know he's going through a little bit of a miniature slump, but in a big spot, I think he steps up as well and carries that load. College hoops, we take Georgia Tech catching 12 against Oklahoma. Let's head to the ice next, right here on Sports Grid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. with two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Live with you right here on Sports Grid. It's Game Time Decisions. We've hit the college. We've hit the NBA. Why not some ice? Joe Madden with us right here on Game Time Decisions. Joe, we're loaded on this NHL slate.
Yeah, it's a fantastic day out there on the ice. We've got Patrik Laine coming back for the Montreal Canadiens, making his debut here. So something we've all been excited for, but lots of great games out there, Kevin.
Let's start with the Montreal game, Joe. They're a slight home dog going up against the New York Islanders. What do you expect in this one?
I think you've got to look at Montreal to be able to come out strong on their home ice, getting Patrik Laine back in the lineup. And I know there's some concern. He hasn't been in a game for over a year, but you look at him here versus an Islanders team whose power play isn't great. Their kill isn't great. And Montreal has been continuously improving in both areas. And I think it's worth a shot on the Montreal Canadiens. And then Patrik Laine, I do think he starts off with a bang. I'm looking for him to get an anytime goal tonight. That's coming in at plus 260. But I wouldn't be shocked if he got the first goal of this game either, Kevin.
All right. So potentially some early juice could come in that game there. Joe, what about the Avs and the Sabres there? Colorado, we know their pedigree. Maybe not the season they were hoping, at least the early returns, but still a road favorite here against Buffalo.
Yeah, a road favorite with Georgiev getting the start. Now, we all know the struggles that he has had in net here. And off of that terrible, 6-goal game that he allowed those 6 goals in the first couple of periods, I do think he will look stronger in this one. But Buffalo has been a team that's been really strong with Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, and Jason Zucker. I do think they step up. And because of that, I'm expecting those goals to come in tonight, Kevin. I do think this one goes over the total of 6.5. And I think it has every opportunity of going to overtime, because we know Colorado offensively so strong. That power play is really clicking at 27.2% of the time. We do have a solid kill here for the Buffalo Sabres, and I think the Sabres are a team you could look at to score in the power play as well tonight, even though they've got a weaker power play. The kill just isn't there for the Avs. So I think overall it equals a lot of goals in tonight's game. I wouldn't be surprised if our first period starts off over 1.5, but I think the game over 6.5 and the overtime bet at plus 310 is where you're getting the best value. Now I am looking at Jason Zucker here for that point tonight on the power play. That's coming in at plus 470. He's on the top line and top power play out here, Kevin.
Okay. Joe, what about another one from the early portion of this game? Carolina, a huge favorite against Seattle. The Hurricanes have been excellent at home right now, 9-2 when they're playing in their own building here. More of the same potentially?
Yeah, absolutely. 9-2, and we know they took a loss on Friday to the Florida Panthers, but that was a day game, Kevin. So when we look at Carolina in night games at home, they have won their last 9, and this team off 2 losses to the Florida Panthers. They're going to take it out tonight on the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken with Joey Daccord expected to get the start tonight. I don't think have a fighting chance in this one. I'm looking at Carolina on the puck line in the first period to come out nice and strong, get up in that first period, laying that half a goal that's coming in at great plus money. And then the full game, I think you can lay the 1.5 goals here as well. On that puck line, I expect Sebastian Aho to come out nice and strong, get that power play point for us. His power play point coming in at plus a 215. Brett Burns, I do think the defenseman is a great look as well for his point. It's coming in at plus 140. Now he's on the second power play and then the top defensive line. So I do think he has every opportunity against the Seattle Kraken with Joey Daccord. And Seattle's just not doing well on the road this season, 4-7 on the road. This has got to be a nice bounce back for Carolina at home, Kevin.
All right, a little bounce back spot there potentially lining up right now with that one there. Joe, excuse me, the Capitals and the Sharks here, Washington, I feel like it's probably tough for them seeing Ovi get off to that start. The injury pops up then, which obviously, it hurts considering as well just the level of hockey that he was playing. But they now found the level, 4 games that they've won in a row, and a big favorite here against San Jose.
Yeah, coming in as a huge favorite. And against the Sharks team, the Sharks have won their last 2. Both of those games were versus Seattle. You got to think the Washington Capitals will be able to get something done in this game. But I think when we look at it and we look at the start of this game, the San Jose Sharks have been able to win the last 5 first periods versus the Washington Capitals. They come out with that momentum and they get up in these games. Now, that being said, do I think the Washington Capitals will fight their way back? They have every possibility. So if you like the Caps and the Sharks do go out first, come back in on them because you're not getting great value right now on them on the money line. And if the Sharks can go up by a couple goals in that first period, it's the ultimate situation because this Capitals team never gives up. And you mentioned Ovechkin, and I do think once he gets back on the ice, Kevin, he has that magical season that we're expecting. I still think he hits Wayne Gretzky's record this year. He's already out there skating 2 weeks post-break, and he has already hit the ice. So he'll be back. He'll be back on a mission.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. He clearly looked like it when he was out there already. The defending champs, the Panthers right now, they go to Pittsburgh as a favorite against Sid the Kid and crew. Did you find any value in this one?
Yeah, I think there's a way to look at this first period here. I think we're going to see both of these teams put up the goals. Tristan Jarry expected here for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Spencer Knight confirmed for the Florida Panthers. Both of these teams have strong offense. We know the Penguins' issues defensively and in net this season. And Florida, they just roll so hot. Offensively, they're able to get things done. Now, defensively, they have allowed a couple goals. And coming off that big win, again, versus Carolina, they had the 2 games versus Carolina, 6-0 win at home and then 6-3 on the road. I could see, or vice versa, I could see this being one where the Penguins get a couple goals on them. So I'm looking at the over 1.5 in the first period. That's coming in at minus 134, and both teams to score in that first period at plus 168. Now, something to note, Matthew Tkachuk is 2 points away from 600 points for his career. So Matthew Tkachuk, definitely someone you want to watch over this game and the next to get that 600 point.
All right. Now, Joe, what about a team that's off to a phenomenal start in Minnesota? They're going to play the Vancouver Wild, the Vancouver Canucks, excuse me. If I'm not mistaken, the Wild, I think, right now have the most points in the NHL. It's been an incredible start here. Now favored at home against the Canucks. Low total in this one. Checks in at 5.5.
Yeah, and I don't think this total is low enough, Kevin. I'm expecting the Minnesota Wild to win this in a 2-0 style game. Gustafsson to be able to come out and get that shutout tonight versus the Vancouver Canucks. We look at the Vancouver Canucks, and yes, they've been rolling strong offensively. They have that firepower. Their last 2 games have gone to overtime, the last one being versus the Red Wings on Sunday. And I look at the defense here of the Minnesota Wild, the support they give Gustafsson, and their ability to really come out strong in these games and limit the opponent's ability to get those shots on goal. We saw Vancouver in that game versus the Boston Bruins. They were held to 3 shots on goal in the first period, 6 in the next 2 after. And I think the Wild have every opportunity of doing the same thing and possibly getting that shutout. If you can get Gustafsson for the shutout, I absolutely love it tonight. I would also take the prop that you can get, which is him for over his save shots on goal, 24.5. While the Wild will limit those, I do think Vancouver sneaks over that. And I'd look at Vancouver's team total under 2.5. That's coming in at minus 108. But if you want a goal scorer, it's got to be Kaprizov here for the Minnesota Wild. He's just so hot, Kevin.
All right, and then, Joe, before we let you get out of here, and we appreciate you helping us break down a loaded NHL card. The Edmonton Oilers, they go to Vegas, booked as favorites, 6.5, as you can always expect with an Edmonton Oilers total. You see any value in this game?
Yeah, this one, overtime. I'm just taking the overtime, Kevin. That's coming in at plus 310. This is going to be a back and forth battle between these two. We know the Vegas Golden Knights are coming off a game in which Utah shut them out in their own building. They're going to be frustrated in this one. And Edmonton coming to town does spell trouble because the Edmonton Oilers have had success before in Vegas. So I'm looking for a complete battle out there on the ice. I do think Jack Eichel will get in the mix. Zach Hyman expected to be back on the ice here for the Edmonton Oilers. This one, I would expect it to go over because of goaltending. We know Skinner hasn't been that strong, but back and forth battle. Overtime it is, Kevin.
I am fascinated by McDavid. His first 11 games this year, 10 points. His last 10 games, 21 points, because that's just who Connor McDavid is. Joe, we appreciate it so much. Best of luck with all the action on the ice.
Thanks, Kevin. Best luck to everyone out there.
We've got Brady Cannon join us next. Take a look at the NFL week ahead here on Sports Grid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in. Game Time Decisions is here on Sports Grid, joined by Brady Cannon. And Brady, it's that time again to put our eyes on the NFL week that is coming up here with a few really interesting games on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the interesting time of the year, isn't it? I mean, we're headed towards Playoffs, it's kind of amazing that there are still teams with a bye this week, this late in the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever seen that before, but that's okay. That's not a problem. Like you say, we're getting close to crunch time here. Playoff spots, jockeying for position, that is all becoming a reality, that now the calendar has turned to December. And, that's kind of been a little bit of a handicapping angle over the years, Kevin. The team that is playing the best in December often goes on to win the big prize. And, you have to figure out who that is. Maybe it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I know you've been high on this team for a few weeks now.
Yes, I have. That win against Baltimore was the big one. They now second choice within the whole league, actually, tied with Buffalo at some books for the Super Bowl. They've really created a lot of separation between teams 3, 4, 5 when you talk about NFC pricing as well. For you, Brady, I know we talked last week. You mentioned Philly kind of looked like the side to you in that game. With that one finishing up, is the adjustment more moving Philly up, or maybe a 5-loss Baltimore team getting adjusted down?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's kind of hard to believe that Baltimore has 5 losses. Now, one of those came against the Chiefs, and one of those against the Eagles. One was against the Raiders, which is really inexplicable. But it's just about their pass defense, not necessarily their defense, period. They're pretty darn good against the run. But their pass defense is such a big Achilles heel for this team that I just can't really, we talked about it last week when we were handicapping this matchup with Philadelphia. I think the two teams are very similar, especially offensively. The MVP candidate in the backfield, an extremely good mobile quarterback, wide receivers, line of scrimmage. But the defense, the pass defense for the Baltimore Ravens is the difference between those two teams. And it came up to bite them once again last Sunday. I just don't think they can get all the way home without a great pass defense. And it's such a passing league. The Buffalo Bills, on the other hand, Kevin, are not a great defense against the run, but they are pretty good against the pass. They have a very good secondary. And also they get Matt Milano back at linebacker, which can help defend that run a little bit. But I think you can get there in this current version of the NFL without defending the run all too well. But not defending the pass, I think, can kill you in what this league has become.
Yeah, my big beef with Baltimore now is the way they're priced in the futures market, because I still think that, look, you could sell me on the Ravens, but not at the numbers they're being offered up at. They are a 5-loss team who's clearly flawed, who doesn't have – you can't look at, well, we know Baltimore turns it on in the playoffs, right? This isn't I'll use an NBA analogy. When LeBron was in Cleveland and those teams were struggling, you're like, it's all good. Don't worry about any of that. And, this is a Ravens team who's at their worst, it feels like, in the playoffs. So when I see them at, plus 450 within the AFC, I don't think it's good enough.
You might not win that division, right?
No, certainly not.
They're what are they, a game and a half or something behind Pittsburgh right now?
Not favorites to win the division either. That's not, the expectations are no longer they win that division, which means it's all road games. It means, okay, we're going to have to, if we're going to make that type of run, probably play Buffalo and Kansas City, which is going to be a tough task for any team to try and do. So, yeah, I totally agree. Speaking of Kansas City, Brady, they play on Sunday night in a game in terms of the spread, really rare. Feels like a first time in a long time. Since their bye week, Kansas City, they have played 7 games. 2 of them as an underdog, the other 5 laying over a touchdown, 3.5. Again, we have not seen a number like this for KC in quite some time. Any thoughts on that early Sunday nighter?
Well, I made the game 3 in favor of Kansas City, and it actually opened up 4. I know there's still a lot of 4s in the market as we speak. And when I just run my first set of numbers, I come up with Kansas City minus 2.5. I really think, if the bookmakers put up 2.5, I've said this before, Kevin, and I don't know if I've said it with you. The bookmakers never have to beg for Kansas City money. So they're always shading that number a little bit, so it gives people a half a second of pause anyway, because they can almost put it anywhere and they're going to get Kansas City money. If they put it under a field goal, they would be flooded with Kansas City money, even though the real number might be 2.5 or 3. So to go to 3.5 or 4, I think is a little bit of protection. I think the real number is 2.5 or 3. We know this Chargers team is good. Historically, they've always been great in division, on the road. I mean, that was such a bad spot for them last week against the Atlanta Falcons, and Atlanta just gave it to them. Kirk Cousins throws 4 interceptions. Younghoe Koo begins the game with a missed field goal. Out of a bye week, that is absolutely pathetic by the Falcons, and the Chargers still walk away with a win. I mean, Justin Herbert threw for less than 150 yards, and they get the victory. So, that's a sign of a good team, finding ways to win ugly, and I think they're going to give Kansas City all they want. Kansas City, the Raiders and the Panthers gave Kansas City all they wanted.
Yeah, they sure did. Let me ask you quickly, we're going to get to a few games with Brady here. Atlanta's going to Minnesota. That number right now, I'm seeing 5.5. What do you make of that number? I think it's one of the more fascinating ones of the week.
I would agree with you. I made it 3.5, and maybe I'm giving Atlanta too much credit, but maybe I'm downgrading Minnesota too much. Minnesota, for me, has not been that impressive as of late. I bet against them successfully last Sunday. Arizona really should have won that game.
Yeah.
But if you look at who they've played recently and who they've beaten, the Jaguars. I can't remember every single
Titans,
team.
it's the whole South.
The Titans. Yeah. It's nobody that is that impressive, and they haven't been drumming those teams. We'll see what Atlanta can do bouncing back. And Cousins facing his old team, maybe a little bit of an edge there. We'll see. It is an interesting number for sure. I don't make it as high as 5.
Yeah. All right. We're going to stick with Brady here, go through a few other key spots, and sneak in some golf picks for you as well. We'll be right back.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek. As I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
All right, we're back to right here on Game Time Decisions. We're hanging out with Brady Cannon. Brady, before I get to the few other NFL games, you were letting me know we do have some golf right around the corner. Let people know what we've got coming up here and some of the names that have stood out to you on that board.
Yeah, it's a fun tournament. The Hero World Challenge. They've been playing here in the Bahamas, an Ernie Els designed golf course. It's 2015. Tiger Woods is your tournament host. Unfortunately, he is banged up, still nursing some injuries, and will not be in the field. But it's just a 20-person field. Everybody here is in the top 40 in the world. It's the best field we've seen since the Tour Championship back in August. You've got Scotty Scheffler, the defending champion. Let's see, you've got Ludwig Oberg, Wyndham Clark, Justin Thomas, Sungjae Im, Sahith Theegala. You know, a lot of big names here. Sam Burns. So it's going to be fun. A little holiday golf for you in the warm weather climate of the Bahamas. There's no FedEx Cup points or anything like that, but it is a $5 million purse and $1 million goes to the winner. So these guys will be out here for, they're playing for keeps.
Yeah. It's going to be, again, it's nice to get the golf back, I think, right? Get it kind of back in the mix there. All right, Brady, let me throw a few at you. I'm going to throw one at you. I was very upset at myself yesterday. We were live watching the game, and they said, next Monday night we got Cincinnati, Dallas, and we were trying to guess the number on the desk. And, I'd love to get it right? I know, let's try and get it bang on. And I guessed Cincinnati -2.5. If I could have it back, maybe I'd guess 3. I never would have guessed Cincinnati would be laying 5.5 in Dallas. I know that the offense is brilliant, but they just lose. They just lose games.
I did worse than you. I guessed 1.
Okay.
I made Cincinnati a 1-point favorite, and I was astonished. 5.5. I mean, the bookmakers just continue to prop this team up. They were a 3-point favorite, hosting Pittsburgh last week. How'd that go?
Right.
This team is not. I mean, look at the teams they've beaten. I know it's the Panthers. I think it's the Raiders. And the other 2 teams are pretty bad who they've beaten as well. They only have 4 wins all year. The offense can kind of trade punches with just about anybody. But, it's kind of like Baltimore, and maybe it's even worse than Baltimore is their defense. They have a serious problem on defense, and it just shows up week in and week out. So, no, maybe you and I and what the odds makers make it, maybe the true number is somewhere in between, but Cincinnati is a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5-point road favorite. No, I'm not buying it. Should they be a road favorite at all?
Yeah, I think sometimes I wonder, how much is home field worth? And I think occasionally we see spots where it's like, ooh, okay, it matters a lot there, right? But then you see other games there's no way you factored in. As I said, again, if we say home field advantage is worth just 1.5 points, that tells me that if the game was in Cincinnati, they'd be laying 8.5. Absolutely not. They would not continuously post that team laying that much. So it makes for a fascinating situation. Brady, let me throw another tricky one at you, I think, for some people. The Niners-Bears game. I mean, Chicago can cover numbers all of a sudden, and now Eberflus is at the door. But all of a sudden now you got a Niners team. I mean, who knows? They got rolled by Buffalo, and I felt like everybody's like, yeah, that's what we expected. That was a 6.5-point spread. It wasn't a 21.5-point spread. You're not supposed to get embarrassed like that just because it was snowy out.
This is another one, Kevin, where I was very surprised by the number. And I've been a Niners fan for a long time, and I feel that gives me a pretty good idea of what this team is dealing with. I nearly made this game pick 'em. I really don't think there's much difference between the Niners right now without Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy's banged up, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, you name it. This team is underachieved all season long. I made it 2. It opens up 4. And my first set of numbers that I run, I come up with Niners by 1.5. I think I'm closer to what the real number is than the odds makers right now. The Bears come in, a possible new coach bounce going on. They've been extremely competitive in their last 3 games. I don't see any reason they can't win it outright, to be honest with you.
And I think firing Eberflus was the only way they could get off the mat from that loss. Because sometimes you worry about, hey, can a team kind of catch their breath with what they've gone through? I think breath of fresh air is firing Eberflus. Brady, appreciate it so much. Excited to watch all these games play out.
You bet, my friend. Hey, the golf picks, by the way, for the hero. I'm going with Scotty again, the favorite. I'm going to eat that chalk. I landed on him last year. I still think the price is okay. I took Oberg and Sammy Burns as well.
There we go. Get a little bit of that action in there. We've got the college football playoff rankings next.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you goes here on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Welcome in Game Time Decisions. Or is it college football today? The college football rankings are on their way. And I said, you know what, okay, Dubs, is it enough? We made a phone call or two, and we've got BWS here, Ben Stevens, in the mix with us for what is a very important set of rankings, Ben.
Okay, Dubs, I would not do this for just anyone, but you, my friend, are a special exemption. This is the first time that this college football playoff rankings reaction bunker has made its appearance on the Sports Grid network. I do it for the Spiz Grizz. I do it for OK Dubs because, to your point, Kevin Walsh, these rankings will guide the way for all of conference championship weekend. What teams need to move up if they are hunting an at-large bid, what is at stake for those teams that will play on Friday and Saturday night. These rankings do, in fact, matter.
They certainly do, and I think that is the reason that we made the decision to do this. They're wasting no time. They've already fired in the first 5 teams now to get us that next set of rankings there, and we are going to give you our live reactions. And, Ben, I think the most important thing that I see here, Syracuse at 22. If you're Miami, a loss to a 9-win, top 25 team in a college football playoff, maybe it doesn't end your season.
Maybe not, Kev. And I think Miami is one of those teams that has an at-large case to be made, right? The loss to Syracuse deemed by some as a bad one. Certainly, they were 11.5-point road favorite in Central New York, but it's not easy walking into the JMA Dome and coming out with a victory against this 9-win Fran Brown team. So now that is a ranked loss for Miami, not seen nearly as poorly, and we know how good Georgia Tech is as well. That game in Atlanta, both of the losses on the road for the Canes. This is where we get to that resume comparison, right? Quality of win. How many wins do you have against teams with a winning record? And frankly, the quality and quantity of your losses. This looks better as a blemish for Miami, albeit a blemish, than it did just a few days ago.
You mentioned Georgia Tech. I imagine had the Canes had just a little bit of extra help in 8 overtimes, and both of their losses, because I think Georgia Tech would have been ranked, Ben, had they won that game against Georgia. 2 wins against top 20, or 2 losses, but both against top 25. Maybe that would have saved them. The next 5 have come out. Clemson at 17. Not super significant in that the Tigers' only pathway is getting the automatic bid. But hey, if you're South Carolina, well, that's a win against a team that's still inside the top 20. And if you are SMU and you go down to Clemson, which is going to be one of our big talking points here on the show, Ben, if you go down to Clemson, that's a team who in the final rankings is going to still likely then be inside your top 15.
Yeah, Kev, it's a great point. It's almost like conference tournament week in college basketball. When those bid stealers are out, Clemson is that this week in football in the ACC championship game. And there are many, I know you believe this, as do I as well. If you earn the right to play in your conference championship, it should not hurt or harm your resume. But will the CFP selection committee feel the same way? We don't know. This is our first year of 12. Yeah. So if SMU is upset in Charlotte on Saturday night, but it's to a top 20 team that with the victory would probably move up inside the top 15 and earn a berth to the college football playoff, how much does that hurt SMU? The committee right now telling you it would not be that poor of a loss.
Though it apparently was not big enough for South Carolina. To me, 3 teams had a chance: South Carolina, Alabama, Miami. But if we were being honest, the Gamecocks did not really have one. Maybe if Ben and I were in charge, that's different. But this committee values head-to-head rankings more than maybe anything, and it kept South Carolina behind Ole Miss. Unfortunately for my wallet, Miami didn't get enough help. And that, Ben, is the big thing. We will circle back to South Carolina, but Miami's name pops first, which means Alabama will be ahead of them. I don't think there's any scenario where Miami now could still make the college football playoff with the committee dropping them behind Alabama after the loss that they suffered to Syracuse.
Yeah, Kev, that is tough. If you are a backer of the Canes, if you have belief in Cam Ward and Mario Cristobal and Miami, to see the Hurricanes right now, as the rankings were just released, check in at that number 12 spot. Some casual college football fans might see that and say, oh, good, Miami is in the top 12. They have an opportunity to earn an at-large bid, not with the automatic bids that will go to those 5 highest-ranked conference champs, where one of the teams, at least that is favored to win a conference championship on Saturday, Arizona State at number 15 in the country, is behind Miami. So that would move the Hurricanes out. What is that? I haven't looked over to my right. What is that celebration that you are?
No, that's still frustration. No, it's still frustration. Miami to win the ACC. After 1 week of college football, they became the favorites to win that conference. Miami to win a national title, in line all year to get a 3 seed. And this team loses their final game of the regular season, and we don't even have a seat at the table. I'm frustrated with that as somebody who backed the Canes. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Ben, because, again, we're going to get to everything, but the big thing today was really what I thought was going to be Miami against Alabama. And I know they're going to come in and they're going to give their reasoning. I struggled with it myself, kind of what I would do if I were in the room. I think it's very close. But, man, Miami loses to a top 25 team and drop 6 slots for that loss. That feels like a lot. And it feels like a situation where timing is everything here. And had you reversed the timing, had Miami lost to Syracuse 2 weeks ago and Alabama's final resume piece was losing in Norman, they would have had Miami in front of Bama. And it has been my biggest beef with the committee in its entire existence. The notion of full body of work has always been a lie. It is what have you done for me lately? And Miami gave them a loss, and Bama gave them a 14-point win in the Iron Bowl.
And Kev, I think that's really disappointing in this iteration of the college football playoff, where there is a field of 12. To have the CFP selection committee do some thought exercise to truly compare. And I know a lot of people are going to point to the field of 68 that we see in an NCAA basketball tournament, and they are not the same. Obviously, the field is so much larger. But what you will hear from the selection committee in basketball is they often reward teams for what they are doing right now, the quality of their play entering the tournament, because over the course of a long season, is that your true picture? But if you look at Miami's season, the last 3 weeks, a loss on the road to Georgia Tech and a loss to Syracuse is not everything that Miami has done. In fact, I would argue the losses for the Crimson Tide are far worse than that of the Hurricanes. And yet, based on where these teams are sitting idle on conference championship weekend, Kev, there is no path for Miami to reach the college football playoff in front of Alabama. That at-large window for the Hurricanes has just grown incredibly slim.
Yeah, Alabama entered these rankings before they came out at minus 235 to make the playoff. Miami was sitting at plus 600. South Carolina at 10-1. It is not a done deal, though, that Alabama will be in. Again, Ohio State lost to a Michigan team and only dropped 4 spots, yet you lose to a top 25 team. You drop 6. We'll get to it all. BWS ain't going anywhere on a college football special.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on Sports Grid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
Game Time Decisions a college football special. Kevin Walsh joined by Ben Stevens as we get the most important set of rankings this year for the college football playoff field. Really the first of its kind, where in years prior, these rankings would be irrelevant. We would know what's on the line for conference championships on weekend, and we would do this all next week. But this locks a few teams in, but it eliminates some as well. Ben, I want to stick with this, and we will get to the rest of the field here. The decision to have Alabama in front of Miami, in front of South Carolina, as the, at the moment, final at-large team. What do you make of it?
Yeah, Kev, I think really when you look at it, we started to see it in the odds, right, as they changed throughout the week. Maybe this idea that Alabama would be in that prime position to earn the last at-large bid to the college football playoff. And that's what we're seeing right now. Oftentimes, the committee has not stuck with a criteria throughout their 10 years in the 4-team format or week over week here. But what we know is the head-to-head has reigned supreme with this version of the CFP selection committee. And oftentimes, the quantity of losses has been a big deal. Here they looked at the quality of loss, I would guess, for Miami and move them back, or at least maybe, Kev, the recency of loss for the Canes. When you look at Alabama's 3 losses this season, they are not great. They are not solid for the Crimson Tide. They are not in overly competitive games for the most part. The game against Vanderbilt, they're booked as a 25.5-point favorite in Nashville. The game against Oklahoma, laying 2 touchdowns on the road. Kev, we examined the line on College Football Today. It felt like a trap spot, but not a trap spot that Alabama might lose. Certainly not a trap spot the Crimson Tide would lose by 3 touchdowns. But at the end of the day, I believe the committee looked at the Tide's quality of win, a win over Georgia, a narrow win over South Carolina inside Bryant-Denny when the Crimson Tide were booked as a 20.5-point favorite. And that is the difference for this Crimson Tide team in front of Miami right now, who does not have that quality of victory on the resume this season.
Yeah, for me, look, I also had Bama to miss the postseason at 4-1. So some people may think that this is just frustration with some futures. And while I have that, what I don't think's been what Bama's not being held accountable enough for, again, is Oklahoma better than Syracuse? I actually think the answer to that is yes, despite the fact that Cuse is ranked where they are. Now, I don't think those guys in the room would say yes, right? I don't think Ben said to me the critical thought. I don't think that. They were destroyed. 24-3 is really bad. And again, it's not as if Vanderbilt, who at a moment's time it looked like may have a Colorado-esque season, right? Whoa, way better than we thought. 8-9 victories. Vanderbilt 6-6. OU is 6-6. Alabama is not Georgia. See, I've defended the Dogs all year because their losses are at Alabama and at Ole Miss. Get in line. Who hasn't? Yes, Alabama lost at Tennessee, but their other 2 losses are not at Texas and at LSU. And again, I know they have the great win against LSU. They do have a great win against Georgia. Their losses are poor. They cannot, their loss to Tennessee is the only reason the Vols are even in this thing, quite frankly. I mean, it's what kept Tennessee afloat. So in an interesting way, I think the way this played out, the SEC complained a lot about cannibalization, about not getting the benefit of the doubt. They got it. At the end of the day, the SEC did get that benefit of the doubt, I do believe, from the committee. And it now sets up a fascinating scenario, Ben, where we try and figure out what conference championship, Friday and Saturday is going to do to these rankings, because things are not locked in. Let's start with the most important question. One, I know you and I, with Joe, of course, on Saturday, we'll talk about endlessly. What do we think happens if SMU loses to Clemson, loses that automatic slot, it goes to Clemson? Would the Mustangs be able to stay in front of Bama, or would we get a one-bid ACC to keep the Crimson Tide in the race?
Yeah, Kev, it's a great question. Right now, SMU checks in at number 8, right? So if they were to win the ACC, they're the highest ranked ACC team at the moment. More than likely, they are in line for that 3 seed, to be the 3rd highest ranked conference champ. If they lose, then how far do they drop? They would work behind Indiana, you would assume. They would work behind Alabama. Will the Crimson Tide on an idle weekend move up those spots? That's what I think is incredibly interesting. And Kev, the odds are starting to update right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook. You mentioned Alabama's price that was working all throughout the week. Plus money over the weekend, minus 192 just about 24 hours ago, greater than a $2 price entering this 5th set of rankings. It's minus 770. That price, better than SMU's. The staying's at minus 295, which should be drastic. Why? Yes, SMU is a favorite to win the ACC championship in Charlotte against Clemson. I have bet the Mustangs to do so, but it's only a 2.5-point spread. Kev, that says to me that SMU is in danger of falling out of the college football playoff projected bracket and field of 12 with a loss if Alabama is that strong, currently is the last at-large team, and if SMU were to not earn the automatic berth from being a conference champ.
And that, to me, is something that I kind of throw my hands up, if I'm honest with you, Ben, where I don't know what they're going to do. An excellent job by you. It's why we got you here to read the market. And I don't blame the market for thinking, yeah, they'll shade Bama, right? I think the committee is sitting there with SMU gear on Saturday night saying, please don't make us do this. Just take your auto spot. Let's leave this alone. And I will add this last thing, because then I want to get to some other big picture stuff while we still have Ben. Clemson is the team that does not belong in this field. The Big 12 can say, hey, we deserve this chance. Boise, UNLV can say we deserve this chance. The problem with this format is giving a team like Clemson, who has lost every single big game they've played, still now getting a chance for a bye as well. Absolutely unacceptable. We're right back here with Ben Stevens and the College Football Playoff.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Game Time Decisions. We are with you on Sports Grid for a college football special as we have a very important set of rankings just dropped on us. We've talked at length about Alabama getting the spot over Miami, what this could potentially mean for SMU this weekend. There are a number of things that will need to play out. But, Ben, let me tell you, this committee, they're going to have some maneuvering to do with these conference championship games. Texas and Georgia, Oregon and Penn State, they're all in. But what type of movement will we see following losses? One specific and projected outcome is Oregon beating Penn State. And I pose this question to you. Will the Nittany Lions fall behind Ohio State if they do drop that game to the Ducks?
Kev, it's a great question, and I think it's one of the underrated topics of conversation for the conference championship Saturday slate that we have. Some teams that we expect to host an opening round on campus CFP game that are currently booked as underdogs playing for a conference crown. Will it be seen as a detriment if Penn State steps up again in competition and does what the Nittany Lions have with James Franklin and certainly in the last 3 college football seasons? Will they move from that coveted 5 spot where they currently are right now, where they would play Arizona State, the projected Big 12 champ, and then get Boise State, the projected Mountain West champ, in the 4th highest ranked conference title winner that has that last opening round bye? That's going to be a part of how we discuss the brackets in the seed lines come Saturday into Sunday. Will Georgia move back at all? Right now, the Bulldogs hosting a college football playoff game against Indiana, who many folks would tell you, Kevin, not really all that worthy of a college football playoff and will be exposed, especially against the likes of Georgia. That's a favorable matchup. We don't expect the teams Indiana, like some others, Alabama, that are not playing this weekend to move much in these rankings. Kev, I think that point is incredibly sound. What will the losers that are into the field but playing on conference championship Saturday, how will the committee use that as a part of their resume, and will it be seen as harming the resume? I don't think Penn State would fall behind Ohio State. I wouldn't place them there for earning the right that Ohio State failed to do as a 3-touchdown home favorite against Michigan to move them down. But Kev, what have we seen the committee highlight above all else? Head-to-head matchups. And Ohio State went into Happy Valley and won that football game.
Yeah, so that's right. The thing of it is, and does that immediately come back to them, right? Now reassessing these teams where I also do wonder, and I don't often like to think the committee does this, but it's a new situation. Today's field, Ben, now we obviously have very important games, sets up a Georgia-Texas rematch. I imagine they'd rather not. I mean, if they meet in the semis or the national championship game, sure. But I don't know if they want Georgia-Texas 3 after we just have now Georgia-Texas this weekend. I don't know if things like that will matter. I'm very interested to see if an Arizona State or Iowa State as a Big 12 winner, not only could they jump Alabama, get in the 11th slot, are we sure this committee will be A-OK giving Boise that bye as the G5 team? This was all created to give the G5 team a, hey, congrats on your seat at the table. Now get destroyed and as our 12th seed here. I don't know if they want Boise as their 4, Ben.
And Kevin, it's a great point, right? You are not just slotted into the 12 spot as we have seen throughout this process. I would be blown away if Boise State handles business in the Mountain West title game against UNLV, Arizona State or Iowa State as they check in at 15 and 16 respectively in these final CFP rankings entering the Big 12 title game on Saturday. Based on where they stand right now, I would be mystified if either the Sun Devils or the Cyclones jumped 5, potentially 6 spots past a Boise State team that wins in the Mountain West Championship game. Different story if the Broncos lose to the Runnin' Rebs, but I think Boise State wins and they earn that final opening round bye, which again, Kev, sets the Big 12 up for a very, very difficult path in this college football playoff bracket.
Or Ben, and I'll leave you with this chaos, and we can't thank you enough for making the time. Ready for this? Boise wins, Arizona State wins, Clemson wins. Yeah, Boise's the 3, Arizona State's the 4. They're going to change this format in season. They're going to be like, never mind. Never mind. The top four are Bama, Texas, Georgia, and Oregon. We made a mistake with all these buys. That's on us, and we'll clean that up right away. We get to do it on Saturday. We get Lisi in the mix as well. BWS, we appreciate it. Make sure you catch him on the early line with Donnie Rightside or Joe Ranieri, whoever may show up on any given morning. We've got Dave Sharapan next.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Welcome back in. It's Game Time Decisions. We're here making it happen on Sports Grid. Appreciate BWS stopping by as we handle the college football playoff latest rankings. It does secure seats at the table for a ton of teams. Really, you do not have many teams going into this weekend thinking, now you have some, which is good, but what I didn't really want, what I thought would have been unfortunate, would have been, and this is big conference bias, the Big Ten and the SEC title games having elimination stakes. I don't think that's what you're looking for. I really, really do not, because it's such a bad, or it should be in the ideal world, such a battle to get there, where it's now dropping you out, right? And that's what Georgia was staring down the face of with their game against Tech. They pulled it out. That's not going to be the case. You have lives on the line for Boise and UNLV, or Clemson and maybe SMU. That is the really big question here. I know some will say it's tough to tell. It is tough to tell. There's just no precedent, right? SMU would be dropping a number of spots with that loss. The loss would be to Clemson, who the committee views much better than Syracuse. The amount could very well be the difference. If it's by 3, if it's by 7, okay. If it's by 10, if it's by 14, see ya. By 21, not even sure why you're here. I don't know. That might be what we see. It's very possible. And I want to bring in Dave Sharapan. Consig, I love to see you. I can't wait to talk a whole bunch of stuff with you. But we're talking college football playoff, and I want to start with this. As tempted as I am to talk about the Nittany Lions, and you look good in the gear, I'll give you that. Have you heard from odds makers about the challenge potentially of booking some of the futures markets with this new landscape and maybe realizing some things they didn't realize when the format was announced the closer we get?
Oh, yeah. This was addressed early morning Monday. I got some texts from guys that are in books like, hey, man, you hear anything about Bama being in? Like, in any of the shows, anyone you do the shows with, say, like, they know Bama's in? Because we're getting hammered with Bama to make the playoff money. Hammered. So I asked around, and it was pretty much a done deal. I didn't send you a text. I apologize. I don't know whatever you're doing on Mondays. I feel bad bothering you after you got big weekends and all that other stuff. I should have sent you the text. But the huge amount, like steam all over the place. I mean, the game it was even money. Like Monday morning, it was minus 200 this morning in a lot of places. So it was one of those ones that like somebody knew something. And you know, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
I got to tell you this. Is this happened last year? This happened last year, Dave. In when it was is it going to be Bama, FSU, Georgia, Texas, that whole song and dance, right?
Yeah.
The numbers started to go. Well, they told somebody. The graphics guy sent a text. I don't know if a graphics guy sent the text on this Bama thing or not. I think one of the reasons that number's not out of control, Dave, and the scenario now that everybody is going to be wondering is what happens if SMU loses. If SMU beats Clemson, this is really simple, right? We know the field. It's everybody that you think is in, and then Boise UNLV winner, Arizona State, Iowa State winner. We're good here. Move along.
That's it. Yep.
We don't know what happens if SMU loses that game. You will have some who believe SMU will be in. You'll have plenty who think SEC, Bama, ha, ha, ha. I can't believe you think they're not getting in. But we don't know. Now, there's probably going to be, similar to today, similar to last year, some movement, right, that make it happen. That, okay, maybe somebody now knows somewhere. I saw Dave, some shops, it looked like opened Clemson as the favorite. Those all got, banged up. Do you think any of those Clemson bet or prices initially were the idea that, well, Clemson needs it to get in? Could that have been the reason?
No, I mean, it's so much fun going back and forth Saturday after the games are done and the matchups. The back and forth on that one was only trumped by the back and forth on the Oregon one with Penn State, at least with me. Some guys had Clemson -2. Other people had SMU -3. I mean, this is I'm an out-of-work odds maker, but this is what we do. We want to, what's your number, back and forth, blah, 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 blah. I think it was a real debate on the Clemson-SMU game. It was a legit, difference of opinion. There was no difference of opinion with Oregon and Penn State. I mean, the line settled at 3.5, but there was a few people, myself included, who thought that should have been a little bit higher. And, if I was still in the book and me and you were sitting in a room, I say, K-Dub, what number I got to give you to take Penn State? Because I know you're not I mean, I've heard you. I know.
No.
Fine.
Let me tell you something.
I gave you 5. You take 5, or are you still not interested?
I'm telling you this right now. I saw that game, and all I could do was laugh. I could do was laugh. Because I know what I know what I'm supposed to do.
Oh boy.
I have. Listen, I'm not an old grizzled vet necessarily, but I've been in the trenches and I keep good company. I know who I'm supposed to bet in that game. That's Penn State. Oh, you know it, Dave. Every bet, every single bet. Well, Penn State can't win a big game. Oregon's the best team in college. Oregon's unbeaten.
On the turf.
I know what I'm supposed to do. What I'm not too pleased with, and you mentioned it, is that number. See, I don't like that number. See, you get me 6, 6.5, 7. Whoa!
Whoa,
Now I'll take a shot. 3.5. 3.5. What's going on here? Who booked this thing?
What are we
What are you
missing?
talking about? And
what are we missing?
I think here's what I think the truth is. Is anybody out there who thinks Oregon's the best team in college football? Well, you know right away that their job is not odds maker because the odds makers don't think that. I'd say that. No. And you might be like, hey, they're the favorite. No, yeah, they're the favorite because they're going to be in. They're supposed to be the 1 seed. They don't think they're the best team. They don't. Nope. Ohio State was like $1.60 to win the Big Ten, and everybody knew they had multiple big games. Like they were $1.60 to win the Big Ten after they lost to Oregon. Like we knew the score. We did. So I don't know. I said it. Did I say it today on radio? I said it somewhere. I said, we'll see if I do what I'm supposed to.
Oh,
I probably won't. If I know me.
No,
I'll get cute. I'll get cute. Yeah. Nittany Lions team total. Win the game 2017. Oh, I'll be at Jay Frank's house asking a couple of questions. I can't. Don't make me sit through it, Consig. Don't make me sit through it now. Oh my goodness.
You want to go? I mean, you want to go to Indy?
I don't know if I can swing it. I don't know if I can swing it. Let's do this because we may get to some other spots quickly. What's going on here? Why do they keep booking Georgia as? Why do they keep booking the dogs as dogs? What's happening here? Texas laying 2.5. Am I the only person in the world that thinks Georgia's good? What an island to be on. No, I'm on an island.
They laid all the 1.5s.
Yeah,
they did.
That's all right.
I mean,
that's all right.
You can make this 3 to open and get the Georgia money. Listen, the books made it 1.5 and said, "Come bet Texas. Come on in." There's not too many times you get to need the dogs as the book. Let's go, baby. Come on in.
Now we're talking. All right, we've got Dave Sharapan with us on a busy Tuesday. We'll be right back.
The sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, "Oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you."
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Game Time Decisions. We're back in the mix here. We've got the Consig, Dave Sharapan, hanging out with us as we go through a few items here. The college football playoff rankings tonight. Big time, no doubt. A lot of numbers are on the move. A lot of things will be transitioning as well as these conference championship games play out. Dave, the college basketball board, though, has also had a lot of attention. Tonight is kind of the precursor. Tomorrow, I imagine college hoops will rule the day in the book.
100%. Yeah. Listen, it was great Thanksgiving week. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving with the fam and everybody. Thanksgiving week here was all about the baskets. And I went down to that Players Era, tournament. I got to watch Creighton in person. I got to watch Houston in person. I got to watch Notre Dame in person. Was some good basketball. And if that didn't get you excited, the Maui stuff did. I'm all in, K-Dub. I got it back early. This is going to be a fun season. UConn loses all those games. Hurley loses his mind. We're back. I mean, West Virginia beat the Zags down in the Bahamas. There's a lot of good college basketball betting opportunities notwithstanding. Just as a fan, this is good stuff. And, I mean, tonight we got a couple good games. There's not, you want Loyola Chicago against Eastern Michigan? That's a play. That was a release. Big play. Okay. Yeah. Big move today. Big move.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm interested. And do me a favor. I'll probably remember to shoot you the text. I want to see if the books tomorrow need Duke, because I think they may. I could be wrong. I saw Duke's -1 at Auburn. Duke's home. It's Duke laying 1.5 to what is now title favorites, top team on KenPom, 1 in Maui. Duke's lost 2 of the 2 big games they've played so far. That Arizona game was late night, not as many eyes on it as the Kentucky-Kansas matchups. I could be wrong. I think they may need the Blue Devils tomorrow.
I just reached out to one of my guys. It's 2.5 down south right now.
Yeah.
Duke -2.5. And Auburn looked great over in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, those guys that, with the sharp edges, that four sided shape that we don't refer to all the time. The only ones that do are those rhombuses and parallelograms. They're going to be on. They're going to be on them. They're going to be on Duke, no question. They bet Duke every day, every time they play. Like, we'll have JY on later.
I know
JY's going to come on. I'm going to ask him. He's going to say, "Yeah, I like Duke tomorrow." I can almost bet that.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I could be wrong.
You must have got in his ear. You must have.
No, I didn't. No. You're getting a clean. I'll tell you this right now. Because I can't prompt it. If by chance a text comes in tomorrow from the guy who is basically a Duke fan, if he says he likes Auburn, we're firing up a small plane and getting ourselves to Durham, because it'll be an all expenses paid trip at that point. If by chance that message comes in, that's all I'm saying. If
this guy's back before the holidays, before
that's the
conference
thing.
play,
No, he's not. He's a sleeper cell right now. So that's if he wakes up to go against his own squad.
That's gold. That's money.
That's
Listen,
what
no
that's
matter
what we're
where
waiting
you're
to see.
at, if you're at some wrestling event or something, because I know Wednesdays is your personal day. You're out and about, Christmas shopping, doing a thing, whatever you're doing. If the sleeper cell shows up with a play, you got to let the people know. By people, I mean me, because I now let the people know, just like I did with Loyola Chicago right now. That's big information. That's information.
NBA Cup Consig. Do people tonight get a little more involved in the NBA with the Cup action?
Tell you what, it's like trying to figure out who needs what and how many points they got to win by and this and that.
Don't do this. Don't upset me.
It's
No.
no.
Now you're upset the NBA has stakes? Come on.
No. They have to manufacture interest. It's no problem. It's fine. Like, this is what they have to do. It works. But trying to explain it to anybody as far as betting and things like that is very hard. You got to really be into it.
Now, Dave, I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to be honest. It's not your fault, right? But it is someone's fault. And we say manufacture interest, right?
Yes.
Well, I saw a report today, apparently, that baseball is going to have a golden at bat.
I
mean, now I don't know unless that was a fake tweet. Was that Porch Sports Report out there tweeting that out, or is Bobby Mann going a little wild?
I got my Savannah Bananas hat right here, ready to go, and underneath I have the Savannah Bananas T-shirt on because we talked about it today on BVB. I can't believe it. It works for Banana Ball. Okay?
Yeah.
It's great, but we can't be having this in Major League Baseball, Kevin.
No,
this is not. No, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
No, this is not going to work.
All right.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think kids like Sam, who love college baseball and think college baseball is rad, and the young kids that watch, I don't think they would even like this, Kevin. I don't.
Look, I don't know who will like it, but I'm trying to think about, like, what's the NBA equivalent? Like, we just do a dunk contest in the middle of every game? Like, second quarter, 4 minutes left? We just...
It's a 4-point shot. 4-point shot.
What hat did you get to now?
Little League. That's what that's when you had the golden at bat.
Is that Yankee Stadium on that ball cap? Wow. Most unbiased man history of sports media. How does he get away with it? He's too good. We'll be right back. Unbelievable.
Sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on Sports Grid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
All right, we are live with you right here in the mix as it is a Tuesday on Game Time Decisions. Consig, you will be handling it over on In Game Live. Let the people know where you'll be focused tonight.
Oh, baby. Obviously, NBA Cup. We'll be discussing these college football rankings and, just informing the people that SMU needs to win to get Bama in, just in case anybody missed that before. Like, they got to root for the Mustangs. Just let them know. Some hockey, we'll be talking about that.
Man.
This guy, can you believe it?
This guy, right?
Can you believe
hey,
it?
Listen, if any of you out there, because a lot of you are fans of Donnie, just clip this little explainer to him to help to make sure he's all right, okay? Before he and do it quick because he's got to get to bed within the next 2 minutes, okay? If SMU wins, Bama is automatically in. If they lose, then Bama might not make it. Who told him otherwise? DRS. If Bama's your priority, you root in SMU. You're welcome. I'll see you Thursday.
What about UNLV? What about UNLV? Can they win? Can they beat Boise?
They can. They can.
There's a buzz in town, K-Dub. It's
well,
real.
There should be. I mean, there's.
Yes, sir.
Let me look. Can I tell you my stance on this? Actually, Dave, watching this year play out.
Yeah.
I am okay with Boise saying we deserve a chance. /UNLV. I am okay with Arizona State and Iowa State saying we deserve a chance, right? The winner of the Big 12 is going to have 2 losses, double-digit wins. I am okay with them taking up a spot, right? My beef with the automatic bids is Clemson having a chance. Clemson has had every opportunity, and they've lost every single one of them. It is like you could easily argue that the reason Arizona State and Iowa State are not getting a chance is because the Big 12 has a bias against them. There's no bias against Clemson, okay? Clemson football. They just stink. In fact, the bias for Clemson is why they're ranked 17th. They stink. They've lost all their big games, and 2 of them have been at home.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just kind of where that is.
You have no bias. You are the most unbiased man in sports media right now. I mean, so
Thank you.
Saying that there is bias for Clemson. Yeah, I mean, no matter what anybody says about where Juan Soto's going to go, it's pretty clear. I mean, you've maintained a nice level
Dave,
of where he's going.
Dave, in case, Dave, ask me where I think Juan Soto ends up.
Kevin Walsh, where do you think Juan Soto is going to end up, sir?
The most unbiased man is here to tell you I think Juan Soto ends up in New York Met. Oh, my God, he did it again. You can't keep getting away with this guy. I mean, goodness me. I mean, does this kid even root his own bets in? Is he so unbiased he roots for the book to take his money? That's what people are starting to ask. I mean, this guy's unreal. A man. Great job out of me. Great job out of me, Dave.
You always keep
the takeaway.
Straight. You always keep it straight. I think we know 2 things.
Oh, Dave, before you get out of here, then,
because again, to keep the Pirates, and he's not going to the Nationals. Let's just put that.
Well, listen, but Dave, to keep that unbiasedness alive, Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, ear to the ground.
Oh,
I don't know. Ear to the ground, ear to the sky. What are we hearing? What are we hearing? I don't know.
What are we hearing?
What are we hearing?
Number 1 seed.
What are we hearing?
We're hearing going to get the home game in the NFC Championship, and they call it the Stiegel Bowl, where the Steelers and the Eagles, Pennsylvania Super Bowl down in New Orleans.
Can't wait.
Baby.
Not bad. Not bad. Little Pittsburgh Philly special there. By the way, someone in the back said Lakers. Last time I checked, they're the 8th seed. That's into the playoffs. Better record than the Nuggets. Again, don't try me. Try and stump me on salads, not on hoops. All right? Stump me on salads. Stump me on salads. Some vegetables. Something I don't like. Something I don't know a lot about. Not hoops. Not LeBron. Not the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? All right? Maybe something you know about. Ask me who's the best college baseball team out there. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me about all this other stuff. All right. Also, don't ask me any baseball that involves the Yankees. Now we're just talking straight to one person and not a nation of you out there hanging out with us on Game Time Decisions. We send you on your way by reminding you Georgia Tech plus 12. Warriors team total over 116 and a hook, and the Don Luka Doncic over to 29.5. I love you, and I will see you Thursday.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was Tony Blinken! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on Sports Grid.